Good morning, y'all. It's April 5th. Got out of camp late, a little bit late this morning. I usually try to start between 8 o'clock a.m. and 9:30 a.m. I gotta get used to this civilian time. I was about to say 08. But yeah, I left at about 10:30 this morning. It was bone-breaking cold last night. I went down to 26 to 28 degrees, somewhere between there. Stayed pretty warm in the tent. It was just, again, my head. It's really hard to, even with wearing, I have that baklava around my neck right now, which you can also use as a neck gaiter. Highly, highly recommend bringing one. Protects your skin on the windy days too, because it's a full baklava. But yeah, I had the baklava and my beanie on last night, and my head was still cold. And as you can see, we did get snow last night. And I mean, it's not much, but when you're going back into your house where there's heat, it's not much. When you're sleeping in a tent, you got to get up in the morning. You know, any amount of snow is a lot. So I wanted to first say that today's hike is going to be in honor of a Marine I served with when he was a sergeant. It's only a short time that I had the honor to serve with him. He was a sergeant, I was a staff sergeant. And his name is, when he fell, when he was killed in action, he actually was a gunnery sergeant Daniel Price. I was over at MARSOC at the time. As an engineer, he was a critical skills operator, or training other Marines coming through to be. You could tell the moment you met him, he was a natural born leader. He was the whole package. He had humility, but he also was not a man that you'd want to be the enemy to. So today is for Gunnery Sergeant Daniel Price. The other thing I want to talk about real quick, and I don't want to digress too far, I'll make more videos later, but if you're thinking about doing the Appalachian Trail as a through hike from Georgia to Maine, you got to train, okay? I hear people say, oh yeah, I want to hike the Appalachian Trail, and then you hear stories about people that wake up and then a month later they jump on the trail. You know, when we went to school, we took tests. We studied for them. When you try out for a sports team, you know, you don't just show up. I mean, yeah, there's the 1 in a million that shows up and just amazing athlete because they have natural talents. But you have to practice. Every person out here that's trying to through hike, be it that they're 22, or there's a woman out here, I don't know if she's still out here, but she was trying to do it this year. She's 83 years old. Every one of them is an athlete in one way or another. You know, you got to train. As an athlete, you train. Because if you don't train, you're going to come out here, and this trail, it will break you. It will break you. You know, there's the physical part of training that you can definitely do anytime, no matter what your schedule is. You can fit it in. If you want to hike the Appalachian Trail, you got to dedicate time to train for it, like anything else. So some simple things you can do air squats. If you can get, a barbell and do weighted squats, that's great. But just doing air squats, 5 sets a day, 5 sets of 10, or whatever your capability is, because those leg squats are going to strengthen your quadriceps. Calf raises. Just stand, if you're standing around waiting, just do calf raises. Who cares what people think? You got to strengthen the calves too. The calves and the quads are working so hard out here. You're going up so many mountains, onto so many ridge lines, and then you go down into so many gaps. you've got to strengthen the legs. So that's physically. And it would be very smart to strengthen your core too. You know, throw in some crunches, maybe some flutter kicks, and burpees. I know burpees are not fun, but I tell you what, they strengthen the core. So you don't have to go crazy. I mean, you don't have to be, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger out here, but your legs will thank you if you strengthen them before getting here. Another part of training would be the mental side. You know, if you're attached to your phone and social media, you need to learn how to be away from it. You gotta test yourself, put your phone down, and see how long you can be away from social media. How long you don't need to talk to people, because I've already spent days out here where, you know, I might not see but 1 or 2 people in a day, and I was just passing them by. And your signal out here, I don't care what carrier you got. I got T-Mobile, Sprint. I spoke to people that have Verizon. I spoke to people that have AT&T. Everybody loses signal sooner or later. On the mountaintops, when you get closer to like a city or a town, yeah, you're gonna have signal. But most hikers are also hiking on airplane mode because you gotta save your battery. Otherwise, it's constantly searching, even when you're not using it. So, get used to being alone. Go for walks alone, you know? You're gonna be strengthening your mind by being alone, and you'll even get some walking in. You know, so that's the mental side. And get ready to think about things that you haven't thought about for years. And I thought about a lot of stuff from high school. Yesterday I was thinking about a lot of it. Even this morning I woke up a little bit thinking just about different stuff in high school, you know? You know, that's all you have is time to think out here. If you come out here and you try to be on your cell phone all the time, I'm sorry if this sounds brutally honest, but you're out here for all the wrong reasons. This trail is about, you know, finding yourself again and just seeing what God created. Man didn't create this. You know, you can go to New York City and see what man creates. You know, we build big old parks in the center of New York City for people to get away from, you know, seeing a building. And then they walk out of the park and they're back in the big city. Out here, all you've got is nature. So I apologize if anyone is offended by that, but it's the truth. Many hikers I've spoke to agree. We all agree that, you know, it could be a physical challenge for some people out here, but mostly it's about redefining yourself, finding yourself again. There's people out here who've lost loved ones. There's people out here that have cancer, dealing with cancer, or overcame cancer. There's a person out here that lost a child. There's people out here for special causes. There's a lot of people out here for a lot of different reasons. And it's all about that, you know, that spiritual side. Not necessarily religion, but just a side that you're trying to, you know, find maybe a new direction in life. So, sorry for digressing, but all I'm trying to say is get ready to be alone out here. Nature's brutal. I think everyone knows that, but until you're really out here and you know you're not going home and you don't have a car to run back to, yes, there are animals out here that will kill you. But if you do what they tell you to do, like hang your bear bag, hang your food from a bear bag, don't keep snacks in your tent. You know, the bears are not here to hurt us. They're not. They just want our food. But, you know, a human being put in a situation where it's, you know, needs food. Maybe it's really hungry. Who knows what these bears are thinking, you know? Maybe one's got mental issues, you know? And I say that, you know, jokingly, but I'm not making fun of mental illness. But we don't know what bears are thinking. There might be a crazy bear here. There might be a rabid bear. So long story short, don't keep food in your tent. If you stay in the shelters, as they say, there's probably as many mice staying in that shelter as there is hikers. So again, the mice aren't going to kill you, but they will eat through the pockets in your shorts. Don't keep wrappers in your pockets. Don't keep snacks in your pockets. In your little hip pouches, those, take the snacks out. You know, hang your food. So enough with that. You know, you learn from other hikers and just being out here what to do with your food. The bigger part of nature is it's unforgiving. It really is. Once you're out here, you got to deal with the elements. You know, it's very windy on these tops. We had 30-mile-per-hour gusts last night and the night before. You got snow again. You know, so the last 2 days, it's been, you know, just above freezing during the day, below freezing at night. 2 days prior to that, I was hiking in 77-degree heat with over 80% humidity. I couldn't drink enough water. So you're gonna have your drastic changes. You gotta be ready for that. That breaks a lot of people. Imagine if you're from Florida and you barely ever see snow or freezing weather. That can break you. So that goes back to the training piece. Read. Watch documentaries on YouTube. There's so many good documentaries. I highly recommend anybody watch Dixie's YouTube video. All you gotta do is type in Dixie Appalachian Trail. She's got so many videos, but she's got one that she lays out everything. So you got to do your research. And, you know, every ounce does count when you're packing, but you want to pack enough to be comfortable because the elements in nature, they change on a dime. And, you know, there's that constant worry with nature. Once it's dark, everything sounds different. Everything's loud. Everything sounds like an animal walking towards you. It is pitch black out here. And just having your headlamp, you're going to see eyes if you look. But sometimes you don't even want to look. There's the worry. When the winds were high the other night, I was like, wow, you know, I completely forgot to look up to see if there was any rotted branches on the tree. That's a fear. There have been people killed sleeping in their tent from a tree falling on it. The winds are that strong. I made a recording of it. It sounded like a hurricane. That's what it sounded like. It sounded like a tropical force or hurricane force winds. It sounded like small planes passing overhead. So, you know, there was nothing I could do at that point. It was dark. I got into camp late. But there's all these different worries. So you got to train yourself with that. And I would recommend, number one, if you've never been camping, go camping. You know, go somewhere where there's no one else camping, where it's pitch black so you can experience how dark it is and how the sounds are. If you've been camping, you probably do understand that already. Go for walks in the rain. Sounds weird, but they say you can count on rain every fourth day on the trail. Some years it's 3 out of 4. It all depends, but you got to be used to being wet. The worst part about being wet is obviously the feet. So go walk in the snow if you have the opportunity. Get outside, get used to the elements, because as I learned in 25 years, almost 25 years in the Corps, is you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. If the first time you're uncomfortable in rain is out on the trail, that's bad juju. So go for walks in the rain. Who cares? You're going back home. You can get out of your clothes. You know? Heck, if you can't get out in the rain, I know it sounds crazy. Get in your clothes, get in your shower, and then go walk around your backyard. But see how it feels, because that is very important, to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because even with all the training, research, and everything, you can be a multimillionaire out here, or you can have the bare necessities. Everybody's going to find one time, more than one time, but many times when they're uncomfortable. You just can't prepare that well. You can't carry everything. You know, it's everything you're living. It's right there. Everything you're living with is in your pack. Your food, your shelter, your clothes, your hygiene equipment, everything. Your little stove if you bring one. I said this video wouldn't be long. I'm gonna finish up. So, yeah, get used to nature. Get out there. Be used to being alone. And get physically ready for probably one of the hardest things you'll do in your entire life. You know, in the Marine Corps, we did a lot of hiking. But even if it was for a couple of weeks out in the field, or, you know, during deployments, whatever it was, I never spent 110 days, which is my goal, hiking 2,200 miles. This is hard. It's not easy. It's going to be harder for you if you don't train for it. And please don't take this as I'm preaching to anyone. This is me talking to anybody that has a dream of starting to do a through hike. So you're a beginner to maybe intermediate hikers. I know there's professional hikers out there and very experienced hikers that already know all this. So I'm just trying to help others learn, just as others help me learn with their videos. So other than that, I think that was everything I touched on. I don't read from a script. I kind of just go with what I think about, and then I record it. So I hope this helps you. There are a couple permits. That's the last thing. So don't forget, you have to get permits. For here, where I'm at right now, I'm in the Smokies. You do have to get a permit to enter. It's a 2-piece permit. You put one in a box when you enter, and you put one in a box when you end. It's a 73-mile stretch, and it's $40 for the permit. Might sound expensive, but just think about it as a donation to the, you know, the Smokies. You also got to get a permit in Shenandoah first, and you can get that right as you walk up. I believe that one's free. And then up at Mount Katahdin, Baxter State Park is where Mount Katahdin's at. You do have to get a permit. Well, you check in and you get a permit to go summit Mount Katahdin. Because again, these are all places that they need to track how many people are going, because the amount of wear and tear on the trail. Which I compliment all the volunteers that maintain these trails, and the ridge runners. They're not volunteers, they get paid, but they're doing a great job out here too. All right, well, I'll make more videos later on as I learn more through this journey. And I hope everyone has a nice weekend, because it is Friday. It's April 5th. And we are going to keep hiking. Happy hiking, y'all.